Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and I want to welcome you to another channeled message. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I have been elated with all of my new subscribers. I want to welcome you to the Black Dove Oracle community. This community is very powerful, full of very powerful people. And I appreciate reading all your comments, receiving your emails. Just thank you so much, because sometimes you can be in this world and think you do not have many comrades, but actually, you all are reinforcing and affirming that like mindedness is much more available to us than we think. So, thank you so much. If you are brand new to this channel, welcome. My name is Kamara. I'm a psychic medium. I'm also channel my ancestors, the divine ancient Sibyls, and my spirit guides who sit at the feet of spirit. So know that these messages are carefully heard from the divine and channeled over to you with love and with care. So, you all, before we get started, I wanted to do a special invitation to invite you tonight to the Galactic Ancestors 888 Portal pre-ceremony. And this is happening tonight, and when I'm filming it, which is August 2nd, 2024. We're doing a pre-ceremony because the 888 portal will be August 8th. But this is a year, we're in an 8-year, and for August 8th to kind of roll around, it's going to be a very special energetic happening for you all. So I thought I would just give a lot of thanks for the support of my channel by offering channeled messages, doing some all signs tarot readings, doing some guided imagery, and some active imagination. If you don't know what that is, bring your color crayons, bring your art supplies. We're really just going to dive in deep this evening. And so it's going to be, let me see, I don't know if this time is right on here, so sorry you all. It's going to be 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and 7 p.m. Pacific Time. So don't pay attention to those times there. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Mountain, and 7 p.m. Pacific Time. So I hope you can join. Other than that, let's get to this channeled message. I had set to record this, you all, and I don't know, I had some other issues come up, but now I feel like heated around some other conversations I was having. Nothing negative, just, you know, it's Mercury in retrograde that's coming up, y'all. So take heed in that and your communications. But I feel like this Mercury in retrograde, and you all let me know, it feels like the pre-energy is something around speaking with accountability. You know, just making sure that when you're speaking, you are, you know, not only speaking from your own authority, but with accountability, like being very responsible for the things that you say or the things we say. That was just a small little public service announcement. So, my honeys, what they had to realize about you. That's just going to be about a 3-group channeled message. And yeah, we're just going to get on it. The timestamps will be in the description box below. And we're going to start with group number 1. So, group number 1, what have they had to realize about you? Did I say that right? What they had to realize about you. Group number one. What have they had to realize? Meaning, they thought one way, group number one, but they are very much realizing something else. Yeah. That you are radically honest. There is nothing that you are not going to suffocate under the beliefs of other people. That you are not going to live in self-denial or self-defeat or even alienation. You don't care about having to walk away, but you will not walk away until you've said your piece, until you've stated what you honestly believe. It's interesting because Spirit is showing me, group number one, that this group of people, they thought you were going to stay silent about something, or that you were just going to leave and kind of do it under some kind of mysterious shroud. This might be a work related issue or something organizational. You may not necessarily work with these people, but it may be something that's part of a issue that has to do with a larger organization. Take it where it resonates, because I'm also seeing someone who's not involved with an organization but is a consumer of an organization, and they thought you weren't going to say something. They thought you weren't going to take your complaints higher. This is very interesting. What they're failing to understand, and what they had to realize about you, group number one, is that you do not go quietly. You do not go quietly into the night, especially on issues that you know there's a righteous truth that needs to come to light. Yeah. So Spirit is showing me group number one. And let's do a little bit of a vibe check here, because maybe you don't know if this is your group yet, but group number one, you are a person who maybe in most of your life, you felt like you've had to wear armor. Like you've always felt like you've been in environments where you've had to protect yourself. Some of you might be in environments where you're the only person of your identity, meaning you may work in an environment where it's predominantly one gender, and you're that one person that kind of sticks out because you're a different gender or a different identity. Some of you may work in places where you're the only person of your culture or your race or your ethnicity or your religion, I'm hearing. Some of you may wear traditional attire, meaning you may wear a hijab. You may wear your head covered. You may wear your hair kind of wrapped, either in a turban or something else, because, there is specific protocols around how you cover your head. And there's something there about being in environments where people target you because you're different. And, it doesn't have to always be an outright thing, like, my grandmother would always say, people don't have to come to your yard and burn a cross for them to attack you on a spiritual, mental, or physical level, because they don't like how different you are. And so a lot of you in group number one, you've been dealing with a lot of subtle, if you want to call it subtle, harassment, because you're different. But what is funny is that what I'm being shown by Spirit is that because you've been in these situations, in various situations, and I'm sorry for this, group number one, but it's like you've been in so many different situations, you've had to put on a certain kind of armor to protect yourself, to protect your nervous system. And group number one, what these people are starting to realize now is that you're no longer willing to just hide behind the armor. You understood at certain points in your life, group number one, that armor kept you safe. It helped you do what you had to do. But for some reason, Spirit is showing me that group number one, you're at a place in your life. Maybe you're older. Maybe you have a different position. Maybe you're starting to work for yourself. You're just not taking that anymore. So your armor, you're showing people now that yes, these things, they hurt you. The way that some people like to navigate around you, it does hurt. It has in the past left scars, but you are not taking it anymore. I don't know. I don't get with all of you that you were always quote unquote taking it, but there was something about you kind of just deciding to be the bigger person, deciding to just kind of walk away, just to kind of focus on bigger things. But this time, there's something, group number one, that you recently went through, and you're like, no, no MF. I hear it. I'm not doing this anymore. And so you're taking off the armor. You're showing all of your scars. You're letting people, because some of you have a community around you that has found it hard to stick up for themselves, has found it hard to express themselves and find their voice. And this can be anything, you all. Like you're part of tenants in an apartment building that have had to go up against some big leasing giant. I don't know. Like there's something you're a part of, a group you're a part of that has been in many ways silenced, in many ways subjugated and oppressed. And group number one, I think something happened recently that was kind of just like the last straw. It didn't even have to be with something that you've been working with a community around. It could be something that just happened in a different space, and you're like, that's it. I'm done. I'm actually going to show you the impact of all of this nonsense does to a person. Group number one, what they had to realize about you was that you are a fighter. You are a warrior. Maybe in the past you've been a quiet warrior, but you still will go to war. And yeah, this is part of your lineage. This is part of your ancestors teaching you how to bring balance back into your life. To not let people have an oppressive end to you, like to have that kind of oppressive access to you. Like you're working with your ancestors now, and your ancestors are like, hell no. Your opportunity, it's interesting because I was hearing this earlier when Spirit was like, you need to do this channeled message. Spirit is even saying, and your ancestors are saying, these people, this is group number one, had it really confused about you because they really thought, and maybe some of them still do, think that they have the ability to stop your progress, to stop your success. Spirit is even saying right now, group number one, what they had to realize was that their ego was getting them in trouble when it came to you, because they really thought that they could come in and say things about you, stop your progress, give you bad reviews, whatever it was. And Spirit's like, no, your success is guaranteed by me. Your ancestors are like, the doors are wide open. So if they want to close their door, goodbye. We have other doors open for you. We have other roads that are clear for you to take. So group number one, what they are starting to realize and had to realize about you was that you are divinely guided. You have become a very powerful inventor of your own life. You've sat down and you've learned and you've accumulated the knowledge. You've liberated yourself with that knowledge, and there's no stopping you. You have great ingenuity. You are the next genius in your field of work, in your community. You are that genius. And there's nothing they could do, whether it's a small group of people or one person, to stop that. It's been written. It's already part of your Akashic records. You are, in many ways, group number one. What they had to realize is that you are the life giver. You are the one who's the true healer. Some of you work in places where people say they're healers, but they're very much attached to systems of oppression. But when you came around group number one, you're about healing. You're not about the politics. You're not about trying to be highly visible or get the attention and the validation of higher ups. For you, group number one, you recognize that people will see what they need to see when they see the demonstration of your work. And that's where you're coming from. Very interesting. What have they had to realize about you, group number one? What else have they had to realize about you? That you don't fear demons, group number one, you face them. You do not mind confronting demonic forces, and you all take it where it resonates, but it could be as simple as people trying to do some real oppressive stuff to actual energies. You will face it. You will exercise those energies because you see it as your duty, maybe even your purpose here, to free others and yourself from destructive impulses. This is very interesting. Some of you might work with people that are really struggling with substance abuse, maybe poverty, maybe very intense mental health presentations. One moment, I'm going to take a sip of water. Yeah. Group number one, you're a very spiritual person. You don't mind beginning to sing the healing songs and the healing prayers that need to be said. When you feel the call, you call in spirit right in that moment when someone needs help. People have seen you lay hands on people who are in desperate need because you needed to provide them with some kind of energetic healing. And in many ways, I think the people who practice around you have become very complacent with the current system. And you're willing to break free of that because you see, and I think your ancestors are guiding you here too, to the older ways of healing, to the indigenous ways of healing in some cases, to the old ancient ways. And so, you've received what they've had to realize about you was that you were not going to succumb to their teasing, to their comments about how you heal, how you show up in the world, how the way that you do things won't make you any money, how the ways you do things won't bring you success. What they've had to realize is that for you, that's exactly what's bringing you prosperity. I think many people around you, group number one, have had to eat their words because they're seeing you get professional opportunities. They're seeing you get speaking engagements. They're seeing you get publishing deals. Like, if you don't see that now, it's coming, group number one. And what they've had to realize is that by you being specifically different, group number one, you being your own person, you don't have to chase after money. You don't have to chase after opportunity because, really, quite sincerely, you are the most authentic engineer of your future. So while other people had to look for validation, group number one, they realize about you is that you're your own person. You validate yourself. There's something so gentle and kind about you too, group number one. And what they've had to realize is that just because you're kind and compassionate to everyone doesn't mean you're a pushover. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to take care of yourself. It doesn't mean that you won't defend yourself. What else have they had to realize about you, group number one? That you stand on business, you stand on facts. You're not interested in hearsay, you're not interested in the latest gossip. You want to hear the facts, you only stick to the facts. In many ways, you're very logical, group number one. What they had to realize about you too is that you care about the people in your community. I mean, from a deep heart place. It's not just so that you can show up and be a community leader. It's like you actually care. You help families, whether they're families with two parents or families with one parent. You even, for some of you, and probably all of you, you stick up for people in the margins, families that might be part of the LGBTQIA community. You help those families. Even if you don't identify as LGBTQIA or queer, you are also very inclusive of everyone in your community. Especially I'm hearing around spirituality. Like maybe there's something where some people in your community are trying to exclude people because of their sexual identity or their gender identity, and you're saying this is not part of spirit's work. Like you bring people into the fold, you bring people out of places of isolation into community. And so what these people are realizing about you, group number one, is that you are the real deal. You walk your walk, talk your talk. And what people are realizing about you too, what they had to realize is that your love is true. You're not faking that. And they've had to understand and really go within for themselves, because you're not fake, you're not false, group number one. And you've really had to, not that I think you set out to do this intentionally, but you've really challenged some people to be more upright, to stop just looking at the bottom line, to stop thinking about just how much money they're making and how things are going to position them. You've really challenged that notion, and they've had to realize that, like I said, you're the real deal. There's some way in which you teach, group number one, the people around you to be in the flow of life, to connect with nature, to connect with the elements, to trust their own divine inner wisdom. And so what they've had to realize about you, group number one, is that you're a great teacher. whether you do it in a very formal way or whether you're just kind of in and around the community teaching. Yeah. It says here that you carry a certain kind of light for people, group number 1. You help them to spiritually develop. You help them become aware. You help them understand things about their lives and how they can change, how they could heal. So group number 1, you're very much what we need in our lives, in our communities, in our families, in our relationships. You're who we need. Someone who tells the truth. Someone who's extremely authentic and selfless. So if you resonated with any of this group number 1, could you please give it a thumbs up? And if you like the way that I read, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you click that bell, you'll get notified when I upload new readings. And I hope again, honeys, that you'll join me later this evening on the 8/8 portal pre-ceremony, where we're just going to get together and do a lot of spiritual stuff, okay? But if this is where we part, group number 1, thank you so much for who you are. And if you want to leave an emoji, please leave a purple heart in the comments. That just lets me know that group number 1 resonated with you on a deep level. And that's what they realize about you, group number 1. Take care. Hello, group number 2. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your channeled message. What they had to realize about you, group number 2. Now, group number 1 was pretty deep. As usual, I really feel like I'm tapping into the energy of some very powerful people here. So, group number 2, what have these people around you had to realize? Let's see. That you understand something, group number 2, about what you truly desire, your true goals. You're a person who lives intentionally. Group number 2, what they had to realize about you was that they weren't going to be able to derail you from your goals. They weren't going to be able to distract you from the things that you set out to do. Very interesting. I think what they have been noticing about you, group number 2, was that you don't give access to just anyone. And I think that these group of people had to realize that while they thought they had access to you, while they thought that they were clear about all of your moves, they suddenly realized they don't know anything about you. Group number 2, these people are realizing that they have been so far removed from your inner circle. Oh, this is interesting. So group number 2, these are people who formerly might have been friends of yours. They may have at some time known a lot about your life, but what they are realizing now is that you have retrieved the key to that door. That they no longer have just the access to walk in and out of your life, deposit a lot of chaos, and then leave. No. So what they had to realize about you, group number 2, is that you have moved on. In many cases, you have moved on. And you have decided that your peace is worth much more than any kind of proposed friendships. What they've had to realize about you, group number 2, is that you don't mind being alone. That some of your best work, some of your deepest connections with spirit are when you are alone in your own nature, some of you in nature. Some of you, this is interesting, spirit is showing me that you go camping by yourself or you go hiking by yourself. Now, you all do that if you feel safe and you feel experienced enough to do it. But spirit is saying you don't mind being on the vision quest. You don't mind being someone who hears the call of your ancestors, and you sit down and you just connect. You don't need anyone to go with you to do that. You don't need anyone to validate you doing that. What else these people have had to realize about you, group number 2, is that you're a great teacher. There's some point in your life right now that you're ready to teach. You're ready to tell the stories of the ancestors. You're helping young people to talk to the ancestors. Some of you are a real powerful spiritual teacher. And you're teaching the young people how to reconnect. In some cases, very specifically, you're teaching young people how to reconnect with their culture, with the culture's stories and history. You're reconnecting them to this knowledge that you have, group number 2. What else they've had to realize about you? Yeah, I think what this group of people had to realize about you, group number 2, was that you do caregive, but you're not going to just caregive anyone. That you really want to help those in need and support those in need. And what they had to realize about you was that you were peeping how they weren't supporting you, how you were sharing your ideas, how you were sharing the things that you want to do and the things that were important to you, group number 2. And these people were just not supportive. I don't know why. Spirit's showing me someone who might have started something on social media. Maybe you just created an account with this new organization or a new business, and these people wouldn't even like or follow you. That's very interesting. But what they had to realize about you, because it became quickly apparent that they weren't the only game in town, that many people valued what you were sharing, group number 2. They may have valued whatever you were putting out on social media, and you started to get a very good following. And there was something about you, or has been about you, in that environment, group number 2, whether it's online or in person. People are starting to see your light. And what they had to realize about you is that you're completely regal, that you are a star, a leader. And these people, I don't know who they thought they were hanging around. In many cases, Spirit said that they did see your light. They just pretended to not see it. They saw your greatness, but they tried to make it seem like it was nothing. So what these people had to realize, group number 2, for some of you, they had to realize that you are a phenomenal artist. Now, this could be, Spirit is showing me in a few different ways because, collective channeled message, you all. But there could have been something where you were trying to share your art with people before you blew up. Maybe, take it as it resonates, you all. There's different timelines here, but someone's already blown up. Somebody's blowing up right now. Whereas someone is getting ready to. People are starting to take notice of your work. Wherever you are in this group number 2, these people were the first people you shared with. You were like, hey, look what I'm creating. What do you think about this? You were probably honestly trying to get their opinions about some of your creations. And group number 2, these people poo-pooed it. They might have said, oh, that's kind of cute. That's nice. Your little creation, your little work, your little shop. How cute. Like they were real condescending. But Spirit was saying now that other people are taking notice of your genius. Other people are like, Can I order this? Can you make something for me? Whatever it is, can you sing at this event? Whatever the artistry is, group number 2. These people are now sitting back and having to kind of watch as others really validate and uplift your talents, your skills. So, what they've had to realize about you was that you are in so much alignment with who you are becoming in life, who you need to be in life, group number 2. You are aligned with spirit and you work closely with your spirit guides. You work closely with your intuition. There was something inside of you, spirit is showing me right now, group number 2. There was something inside of you that said, keep going. I mean, yeah, these people aren't giving you a lot of support. These people tried to make it seem like what you're doing is like, okay, not really. Like there was another voice inside that you kept hearing, group number 2. Keep going. Keep doing this. There are other people who will love your work. And if you need to hear that right now, group number 2, hear it. Spirit is saying, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Because Spirit is saying here, what they had to realize about you was that you are not going to fall prey to their vampiric ways. A lot of these people sought to engage you on an energetic level just for their own purposes. And what they had to realize about you, group number 2, is that you're divinely protected. That Spirit was shutting the door on these people. Suddenly, they were not only encouraging you, group number 2, to stay quiet about the things you're doing around them and to also distance yourself from them. And I don't know how you were getting these messages, group number 2, but Spirit, if you're not hearing Spirit say that now, you might want to heed it in this reading, group number 2, this channeled message, that you need to pay attention to people who kind of to very little support you, to people who are very critical of the things that you're doing, but at the same time unsupportive of helping you get to a place where you need to be. But Spirit is showing us here that they had to realize already that they're on your outer realm now, that they've been moved from your inner circle to an outer community. And I think they had to realize here that you did that in such a very strategic and quick way. They didn't even realize they were on the outside until they were far, far away. What else do these people have to realize about you? That you're not going to self-sabotage. Not like you, maybe some of you have in the past, but not on this opportunity. You're answering calls, you're answering emails, you're following up with people, you're creating timelines. I'm seeing someone's even creating spreadsheets. Okay, come on. And group number 2, what these people had to realize is that you're serious about your success. You're willing to work hard, and you're also willing to find your own supporters. You have passed working in a self-destructive way, a way that hasn't benefited you in the past. I think a lot of times this group of people, group number 2, they try to derail you from your goals by making it seem like what you're doing is silly, what you're doing is too out there, what you're doing might not be in alignment with what the community needs, like whatever their comments were. They were really trying to put you in a space of doubting yourself, of not following your intuition. And in this way, they liked to keep you not in alignment with your goals and your intention. There was something there, like that was their attempt. That's what Spirit wants to correct me on. That was the attempt. They did not succeed. Because truly you are in Queen of Swords energy, just meaning that your head's now above the clouds. You can see quite clearly who's an actual friend and who's a foe, group number 2. And that's not by mistake. Spirit is saying it's by design. And what these people are realizing too is that they can't keep you from the people who actually love you. It's like the people who love you, they are so, how do I want to say this? They are so enamored with you. Is that the word? Enamored? I don't know. They're so connected to you, group number 2. And that this group of people, they really did some kind of nasty stuff to try to dissuade people from taking a look at your work, or maybe going to your shows, or, you know, there's some, I don't know why Spirit is calling my attention to this old Bahamadia. Is that rapper Bahamadia? Is that how you pronounce her name? She had this one song. It had a line in there that said that, when rappers would come to her early shows, they would say, she's okay. And there's something there. I got to find that song. Maybe I'll try to link it. I'll make a note to link that Bahamadia song because it's really a cool song. But it's like that, group number 2, jealousy will drive people to do some very curious things. Instead of working on their own stuff, they would prefer to stop you. Instead of them becoming the masters of their own work, they would prefer to throw a wrench in your work. But Spirit is just saying what they had to realize is that was never going to happen. First of all, you don't give up. Second of all, Spirit is not going to let you give up. Your ancestors are not going to let you give up. And yeah, they could have, caused a few bruises along the way. They could have, did some things that were a little irritating. But ultimately, this group, I think what they had to realize was that their jealousy lost them the potential good friend that you were. Because I really think that you gave these people entree into your life. You treated them like a friend. And as you became more and more popular with what you were doing, more confident in your art or the work you were doing, these people became more and more jealous. And they never saw you as the model. They never saw you as someone who could inspire them. So I think after a while, and maybe after some hurt, Spirit is showing there was some hurt around this group number 2. You had to release these people. And so what they're realizing is that you will walk away. And you will find those people who not only support you, but who can stand to be in the same room as you are being uplifted, as you are receiving awards and accolades. People who can feel happy for you, group number 2. So that's what they've had to realize, is that 1, you're on top of the wheel of fortune, and there ain't no stopping you. And you're in your victory. And what they've had to realize is that their obsession with slowing you down, with their jealousy, it has done nothing but stop their own progress. And that is something they're having to realize about you. So group number 2, if this resonated at all with you, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And let's see, maybe you'll put a blue heart in the comments if that's something that you would like to do emoji-wise. And group number 2, I hope that you join me a little bit later on the 888 portal pre-ceremony. I'm going to be offering channeled messages. I'm going to be offering some tarot, all signs tarot readings, some active imagination, some guided imagery. So I hope you join. And if this is where we part, group number 2, you're a badass. And thank you for all that you do. Take care, my honeys. Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. And group number 3, welcome to your channeled message. What they had to realize about you. Group number 1 and 2, very powerful. So, group number 3, what has this group of people had to realize about you? I feel like for all of these groups, it's been more than one person. Very interesting. What they had to realize about you, group number 3, was your capacity for forgiveness. They had to realize, group number 3, that hurt only blocks your light. So they had to realize that about you, was that you understand hurt only blocks your light. You understand that when you're in a hurt place, it's only harming you to keep up with a lot of anger and frustration. You were realizing either now or more recently, group number 3, that was only hurting you. That the hurt you were carrying, it wasn't really impacting those who had done the infraction. Oh, this is interesting. So this group of people, they are in shock right now, group number 3, because you've actually alluded to the fact that you forgive them for what they've done. That your spirit, your elevation, your growth means much more to you than anything that they were attempting to do against you. Wow. Yeah. So group number 3, what they had to realize about you is that you are of the light. Like, I don't know why I'm hearing that whole like forgive them because they don't know what they do. Wow. Yeah. Because here it is, your energy, what they had to realize about you, group number 3, is your energy is that of a truly compassionate person. That you've only ever acted out of care. That you've only ever wanted to support people. And it's showing me specifically for some people in group number 3, you were unfairly judged. There was something that someone decided to judge you on. And instead of really seeing truly through that situation and into your light, they chose to cooperate with a lot of gossip, with a lot of false accusations in some case. So what they're understanding about you now, and I have a feeling the people who are realizing something about you right now are the people who really took some kind of judgment and ran with it without all the facts. And so what they're having to realize about you right now, group number 3, is that you are a celestial being. That your work has nothing to do with some of the accusations that people were coming up with. And that your work, it's boundless. Like it's here and supported by the universe, by spirit. And these people are having to realize that much of the judgment that they had decided they were going to kind of believe had to do with discrimination in some cases. Quite literally, group number 3, you have people now seeing your act of forgiveness and they're feeling ashamed. They're feeling like, oh my God, how could I have misjudged this person? And they're realizing, oh, I misjudged this person because I have some of my own thoughts I need to examine. What they're realizing about you now, group number 3, is that you were a teacher for them. You've been sent here by the universe, by spirit itself, to teach, to give your knowledge. But these people, it's really interesting. They shunned you right away. And I think it does have to do with prejudice of some sort. But at the same time, you forgave their ignorance. There's something that you did, group number 3, that just really changed the vibe of something. In many ways, Spirit says you are a trickster. Like you might come showed up. You may show up to things very casual. You may show up very humble. You're not there trying to say, I'm this teacher, I'm this person. And at the same time, these people just decided from maybe your outward appearance, maybe from their thoughts that you didn't have anything for them materially. And whatever it was, you kind of just showed up as your authentic self. And when it became known that you actually have many things to offer them, that you are quite a genius, group number 3, what they had to realize about you was that at your very core, there's something that they would have to dig deeper to really get to know. That you lead with such authenticity that you're not wilding out trying to prove you're a leader, trying to prove you're a teacher. There's something so nurturing about you, group number 3. And they had to realize that you're patient. You offer unconditional love and joy. Some of you are so kind to children. You could be, and this is very specific, you could be a teacher that has come into a community that's different than yours, and you have come in to teach their young children, but there is a hesitancy about accepting you in this community. So take it where it resonates. But more on what they're going to have to realize in this community, or what they do realize about you, group number 3, is that you have the creative ability to turn any situation that has seemed negative into positive simply by being your compassionate, loving self, to being very consistent that way. What they've also had to realize about you, group number 3, there's something very motherly about you, regardless of your gender. There's something very caring and compassionate about you. I mean, to the fact that you will not hang on to any kind of resentment. You just kind of say, hey, I don't know why they want to treat me this way. I don't know what's coming up for them, but I'm going to just let them figure it out. I'm going to maintain my kindness. I'm going to maintain my commitment here. I'm going to be consistent. And that's kind of just been where you have decided to be. You're not going to confront folks. You're not fighting. You're just being yourself. And you understand if some people don't want to take your offerings, if some people feel like, what you're trying to give, it doesn't align with them, you're okay with that. But you're not going to convince people of your worth. And in many ways, that's what they're starting to realize about you. You're consistent, you're thorough, you're compassionate, and you show up. And so what they're realizing about you, group number 3, is that you're not looking for followers. You're not looking for the easy way. You understand that if you're brand new in some community, you're going to have to let it take hold, take time, but you're not judging people for being afraid. Maybe there's a part of you, group number 3, that knows why people historically are afraid of outsiders, and you're okay with that. So there's something here that people are starting to realize. They don't know you. They don't know the whole you. And so group number 3, what they're needing to and want to realize here is that you will not remain a victim in their community. You're not here to take the role of a martyr. You're here, quite literally, to make an offering, and if they accept it, they accept it. If not, not. But that's something that's kind of like King of Swords about you. You're just no nonsense. You're kind of like, this is what I have to offer. This is what I can give. I'm not trying to prove myself anymore, or at all. And if you wish to accept what I have to offer in terms of knowledge and wisdom, then here it is. I think you're very simple about that, group number 3. You're not a person who, what they're kind of realizing about you is that you are not at all like this past person. I think they're comparing you to someone. And they're realizing, no, these are two different people. Very different people. Very interesting. Let's see if there's any more messages here. What do they have to realize about group number 3? Yeah. You're a person who doesn't push, who's going to reevaluate the situation as it's needed. And you're not going to exhaust yourself trying to get outside validation. You're just going to do the simple process of showing up, doing the work, showing up, doing the work. That kind of consistency. And you know, somewhere intuitively, group number 3, it will work out for you. Because this is who you are. This is how you navigate the world. And so they're starting to realize there's something much deeper to you than your appearance, much deeper to you than how you work with material goods or prosperity. Like, there's something so much deeper. I think a few people have started to get to know you, and they are so grateful that you can put aside early interactions because they are receiving such benefit in being in your company, getting to know you, receiving your lessons. They're very grateful. There's someone, group number 3, that you really helped turn their life around with some advice you gave them. And they're so truly grateful. And I think that person is starting to tell other people, hey, group number 3, they're a wealth of knowledge, and maybe you want to give them a chance. So that might change things in the future, group number 3. But for now, what they had to realize about you is that you're way, 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 way much more than they anticipated or even know. So group number 3, if you resonate with any or part of this reading, could you give me a thumbs up? It's a way to help me grow this brand new channel. And if you like the way that I channel messages and want to stay connected, please consider subscribing, give me ringing that bell rather, to make sure that you get notified when new channeled messages or even tarot readings are uploaded. And group number 3, I hope that you will join us for the 888 portal pre-ceremony celebration tonight. It's going to be 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Pacific. So I hope you'll join us right here at the Black Dove Oracle. We're going to be doing some readings, some channel messages, some guided imagery, even some what we call active imagination. So if you have art supplies, bring that. And I hope that it to be a real community time together. But if this is where we part, group number 3, thank you so much. And I hope that you join me for future channeled messages. Take care.